And your brother was a party animal here in this world.
He was.
He shows me with the beer bottles when I'm connected with him. He shows me him drinking, and he shows me that he was so good looking. He's literally telling me like women were lined up with mattresses on their backs to be with your brother. And it's so funny because your father thinks this is so cool that he can come through and speak like this in front of all these people and that you're here. And I gotta tell you, when I'm connecting with this man, he is hysterical on the other side. He had a very dry sense of humor. First of all, he shows me that there were problems in multiple parts of his body here in this world. And he says to me, because right away, he keeps telling me there was circulation issues with him here in the physical world. Do you understand that?
Yep.
And he says to me, Matt, he says, the one thing that I want to thank my son for, he says, for the way that he always kept in touch with me and always kept me close within his life. Did he almost die once before?
Yes.
He tells me he almost died, and I'm like, what? And he says to me, God gave him more time here on earth to spend with you and to spend with your family. He's also keeps showing me when I'm connected with him that he was obsessed with cars. How do you connect with cars and trucks and things like that?
He had a van that he really loved.
Okay. But when I'm connected with your father, right, this goes beyond that. I keep seeing him, excuse my language, I keep seeing him with shitbox cars on the other side. Did he used to go and like fix up cars or fix up old cars here in this world?
He did.
Know that one of the things is that when I'm connecting with your loved ones, they'll show me the things that they loved here in this world. And to your father, he used to love being able to figure things out and to make things work when he was alive. Because he's saying to me, Matt, tell my son, remember this, remember this. And I see all these cars that are there with him. And he says to me, this was one of my hobbies. And he says to me that when I'm connecting with him, here in this world, he could figure out anything here in this world. It's actually funny. I just saw a vision of like people going and bringing your dad, like all their broken shit to the house, like trying to get him to fix it. Do you understand that?
That's what he did. He fixed everything.
Oh, wait, that's what he did.
I mean, he fixed anything.
Well, when I'm connecting with him, he shows me like someone bringing him over a table lamp and then bringing him over a toaster. And I'm like, what the hell am I seeing here? You're gonna know, I don't know your life. I don't go home and Google this shit, while I'm bored. I rely on what your loved ones show me in visions to tell you what it is that they have to say. And your father says to me, Matt, this was me, this was me. And he's telling me this because he tells me that that's literally how you were within life as well, and you're still like that now. He says, my son gets it from me. So your dad tells me that he watches over you every day, and he also wants to thank you for watching over your family. Your dad wants to thank you for the way that you watch over everyone, the way that you stepped up to the plate after his passing here in this world. And he says to me, not even after my passing, Matt, it happened beforehand. This is really weird because when I'm speaking to your dad, he keeps telling me it happened 5 months before, 5 months, 5 months.
5 months before my brother passed away.
Oh, 5 months before your brother passed. So when I'm connecting with him, he keeps telling me the 5 months that's here. And your dad's also telling me that he was having issues I keep feeling with his head. And he tells me he changed as a person.
I just thought maybe he gave up because he knew my brother was sick and then he passed. And I was really kind of wondering, why did he let himself go instead of going to the hospital? That's the way I feel,
So this is how, being a medium, they'll show me everything. And your dad needs to tell you about what happened in those 5 months. Because what's really tough is your dad's bringing this through. I know what happened. He just told me, thank you. Your dad is telling me, Matt, he says, I wasn't feeling good. He says, for that whole time. He says, but he put his own problems aside to watch over your brother. He says, I wasn't paying attention about what was going on in my body. I didn't care about what was going on with me. All I cared about was what was happening with my son. Do you understand that?
Right, I do.
So know that one of the things that your dad is telling me is that to you, you feel like your dad passed all at once. But he tells me when I'm connecting with him that he was having problems beforehand. He's bringing that up because when I'm speaking to him, he keeps showing me that he felt tired, he felt dizzy, he felt all of these things. But he didn't say anything because his top priority was his son. So what's tough is that first of all, your dad tells me that he's there with your brother. And I want you to know that this is the hardest thing because you lost the two of them basically at the same time. Your dad says to me this. He says, Matt, I was hoping to God, he says, for a miracle. He tells me that he was hoping that your brother was just going to get better. He says, but unfortunately, it never happened. And I have to tell you this. Your dad says to me that he wants to thank you for staying by his side. That's why when I was hearing him saying about you stepping forward to take care of the family, It's him talking about you stepping forward to take care of your brother. Because he tells me that your brother got so bad that he lost the ability to even walk here in this world. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So please know, your dad is bringing through your brother as well. And what's really tough is this. Your brother keeps telling me that in the beginning, he thought he was going to be able to beat this.
He did.
He shows me, Matt, he goes, I had everything lined up. He goes, I went to my doctor's appointments. I did everything that I was supposed to do. But he talks about being misdiagnosed when I'm speaking to him.
He was.
So he says to me, Matt, what's crazy is, can I tell you everything?
Yes.
Because when I'm connecting with your brother, he shows me visions of him back in the day, and your brother was a party animal here in this world.
He was.
He shows me with the beer bottles when I'm connecting with him. He shows me him drinking, and he shows me that he was so good looking. He shows me Matt. He goes, he's literally telling me like women were lined up with mattresses on their backs to be with your brother. He says, and Matt, he goes, I gotta tell you, there was nothing that I didn't try, and there was nothing that I didn't do.
All might said he's a dreamer.
Listen, that's on your own time. But I can tell you this. Your brother tells me, Matt, he says, I knew something was wrong with me and nobody wanted to believe me, he tells me. He said to me that he was going through this for a couple months before they actually found out that he was sick.
Because he never said anything. You're right.
He tells me this. Well, no, you're telling me he didn't say anything. Your brother shows me that he went to his primary care or went to his doctor's appointments and nobody thought it was anything serious. He says, but Matt, I gotta tell you, and I gotta tell my brother, I did not give up. He says, I was going to fight this till the very end. And your brother actually tells me about him dying, going through treatments here in this world. He says, I didn't give up my fight. He says, and I didn't want to hear the word death. Because I got to tell you, your brother just said to me this. He says, it scared the shit out of me, Matt. It scared the shit out of me to hear that I was going to die, that I was going to leave this world, because your brother didn't know if heaven existed, if the afterlife existed, if any of this was really real. And now, here he is now. This is his way of showing you, yes, heaven is real, I'm there, and I am okay. He's also telling me he's got his dog with him as well on the other side.
Awesome.
And what's crazy is I see him with this dog, and your brother's actually giving the dog beer in spirit when I'm connecting. What's with the dog drinking with him? Did he used to give the dog beer?
He treated that like his baby. It had fresh chicken. It didn't eat dog food. That was his baby.
And he had Corona and shit too?
Evidently, he gave it a little Coronas.
Because your brother's saying to me, Matt, he says, let him know the dog's here. And he's telling me that was one of the things that was so amazing about once he got to the other side. So know that as hard as it is to think of your dad and brother as gone, please know that they're right here with you. And your dad also wants to thank you for one thing. He actually just said to me that you have tools of his that you kept or held on to.
A lot.
So he says to me, Matt, please thank him for holding on to my tools. Tell him that I'm okay. And there's one other thing I'm going to tell you. Sorry, they won't stop bothering me. He's also telling me about pictures that you kept. And I'm not talking about family pictures. Was there a painting that you kept?
I know what he's talking about.
Perfect. He said to me he's saying to me, that was my favorite picture. That was my favorite picture. So the fact that it was in his house and now he sees it in your house, it's his way of acknowledging, thank you for putting that up for me. Know that I'm here and with you. I am safe and at peace. And my soul is always there and by your side.